Welcome back to another unexpectedly random product review. As you may have guessed, both by the large image that I'm about to hit my head on right now and the title, which is kind of a giveaway, we are going to be looking at Banquet Mega Pizza Double Stuffed. That's a mouthful. Um, I'm going to go ahead and we're gonna get right to this. I'm gonna go ahead and um, introduce you to our sponsor today. It's the paper towel to keep me from making a mess. And we're going to show you these pizzas. We have three different flavors. The first one is three cheese, and that's the one you're looking at right now. I cooked this. You can microwave them or you can cook them in the oven. I chose to microwave them because convenience is always a good thing. But I cooked this one for closer to the upper end because it gives you a range of times. And it burnt the cheese really, really bad. It's running off the side here. It's it's really burnt. So I'm hoping the pizza is okay. I'm anticipating the crust being a little tough because it's microwaved, but we'll see. This next one here is the double, or it's just regular pepperoni, sorry. Um, so what it is it's two layers of pizza. You may be able to see over here if I can get this. It's hard running the camera upside down. See the split between the crusts? So the first pizza is in the bottom, and it's got the pepperoni or the whatever on it, and then they top it with another pizza, effectively, that has cheese and sauce on it. This last one is the four meat, and again, all of these look the same for the most part on the outside. The reason these don't look as burnt is I cooked them more for the lower end of the time. I think it was 5 or 6 minutes. This one's sticking pretty bad to the crisping paper. Anyway, the last one's for meat. One thing that I did want to point out, I'm a little concerned. One, it burnt really bad. The one did at least. So that's not a great sign. Some of that could be the microwave. It could be that I need to use less time or something. Um, Not great that that happens with an option as far as the cook time. The other problem was with the pepperoni. Um, this one here. It while it was cooking, it had a really foul smell, and I don't know why. If you've cooked like boar meat, like pork, but from a um, like a free range male pig, or they have there's a thing called the taint. Um, it's not it doesn't generally affect the flavor. It doesn't generally affect any like the safety or anything of it, but it has a very like gamey, foul kind of smell. And that was the closest thing that I could recall that this pepperoni one smelled like. So it's possible that they used because you can treat for the taint. Um, there's things that they can use, and I'm not deep into animal agriculture, but I know there's treatments that you can use to prevent them from suffering from the taint, from the meat having the taint. But it's possible that there was a batch of pork maybe in the pepperoni. Um, I'm hoping that smell doesn't linger in the flavor of it. If it does, that'll be a no-go on that one. It'll be a very sad $4 and something that I 4.19 I think they were. Um, to lose that piece because I will not be able to eat it if it tastes like it smelled. Otherwise, they're probably going to be a little bit tough because that's what you get when you microwave pizza. They're sticking to everything. This one is pulling apart and pulling the paper off. This is not looking like it's going to be a great um, example. I'm going to have to pick the paper out of that one. So let's start with the potential um, scariest one, the pepperoni. The crust doesn't seem to have gotten very crispy. There's a little bit of texture on it, but mostly it's still pretty soft. The edge of the crust back here. Let me get rid of this image. Make some more room on the screen. The crust back here, it's pretty dry, which really was to be expected. Um, it smells a little bit like that smell that it was giving off. So I'm a little concerned, to say the least. But we never know till we try. Well, it doesn't taste like it smelled, so that's good. And the pepperoni's got a very greasy taste to it. Um, it's a little bit spicy, which I've seen as kind of standard with pepperoni anymore. It's not overwhelmingly spicy, but there's definitely some spice, some heat to it. Overall flavor for coming out of a cardboard box from the freezer aisle and being microwaved, it's not worth the $4. It's really not. It's going to be too greasy, and the flavor's just not there. The crust flavor, it tastes like crust. There's not really anything special about that. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, Four Meat has paper in it right now because the crisping paper tore apart. So we will go to the other oily three cheese with the burnt stuff on it. It's also picked up some paper here that I'm going to have to break off. And thankfully, because it's so burnt, it's easy to break off the piece that has paper stuck in it. So we're going to try over here where it's not burnt. Like a little bit of that. This is bad. You can't cook it for the higher, at least in my microwave, and I think mine's an 1100 or 1200. And that may be the problem, but you absolutely cannot cook this for the full time that it lists on the box. Flavor wise, it's not actually bad. Um, the end of this got really hard and crunchy where it was thin, and the rest of it was burning. Had I cooked this for a shorter time, it's cheesy. It it's not a phenomenal pizza by any means, but if you needed a semi quick 4-minute pizza, couple slices, this could work. The cheese is cheesy, like I said. It tastes like a cheese pizza. Um, there's really not much else to it. It's very greasy though. That would be the aside from the burning, which we're going to discount the fact that it's burnt because that could have been operator error. Um, To be honest, after the first one, even the burnt pieces here. Oh yeah, that's probably. It's a little bitter, but I've had worse. Um, that one's definitely a huge step up from the pepperoni one. Way too greasy though, presumably because of the three cheeses. So finally, going to carve this one out of the box. Out of the paper because I don't really want to eat paper today. Just no more reviewing. I'm dropping burnt pieces on everything. I think mostly out of the paper. This still has some, just like paper residue on it. This is the more and more I have to fight with this, the less and less it's worth the $4 a box because it's not. Well, just pull it off. So this is the four meat. Theoretically, it's got pepperoni and sausage, probably hamburger, and ham or Canadian bacon. This one is falling apart because it was so adhered to the box that it was fused with the paper. So that's not a good sign. I think I've got most of the paper off. There's a little bit still in the corner that I'm going to avoid back here. But we'll try it and see. Maybe the flavor is phenomenal and it will. It's not even a chance. It's much better than the pepperoni. Um, with the difficulty I had pulling it off from the box, the cheese is still better. Taste wise, if they would get the pepperoni out of it, and probably the ham, because the ham or the Canadian bacon, it generally tastes a little funny in frozen pizzas. Um, if they'd take that out, so basically make a sausage and hamburger pizza, I could see it being okay. That crust gets so hard. Ow, my teeth. So that actually hurt. So the final verdict on this. Let me get this image back up here. Back to where we started. The final verdict on the double stuffed. This my orientation's off. I'm just so baffled by this pizza. This is a no go. This is I won't be buying this again. Um, $4 for a couple pieces of pizza, just on its own right, if they're decent pizza, that's not a big deal. I mean, but I can order an entire pizza from Pizza Hut for like 8 or 12, and that's 8 pieces, and they're reasonably good. I don't have to worry about it being full of paper or burning itself and falling off the box or tasting like it's got taint. So that's a no go. I'm sorry, Banquet. I appreciate the effort, but this one's a failure. It's a full on failure. Um, sorry, I don't often have trouble finding anything positive. If I was to pick one of them, the cheese one that's burnt on the side is probably my favorite. Um, just because it was hard to go wrong and you still kind of managed to. But that's enough dogging the company. They got some good stuff that I like in other areas. Um, but just my honest take on this pizza is it was not executed well, for the microwave at the very least. Now, it may have been okay because you can also cook them in the oven. It may have been okay to cook it in the oven. You wouldn't have the paper stuck in it. You wouldn't have a lot of the other issues. You might reduce some of the greasiness. Let me see, in 425 for 21 minutes in the oven. So I don't think so. Not gonna recommend this one wherever that's at on the screen. I guess it's right here. Not gonna recommend it. It's just not good. Too much struggle. It's too expensive, and it's too easy to mess up when you're trying to cook it. Which is sad because I saw it. It was actually my mom told me about it, and then when I seen him, I'm like, that could be really neat, and it was neat, but it was not. It was poorly executed. So, but like they say, you win a few, you lose a lot, and I lost a lot. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this review. Hopefully, we find something better for the next one. And until then, stay random.